Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Santa Barbara Response Network Compassion Center Facebook Live. I know it's long, but it's valuable. We started our broadcasts, me and my colleagues, sisters, and friends, Santa Barbara Response Network partners, initiated these Compassion Center Lives at the beginning of COVID. So we've been doing this for a long time. With our community, everyone is weary. Everyone's tired. People are fed up. People don't want to do it anymore. People are losing track of taking care of themselves. Part of the Santa Barbara Response Network mission and goal is to respond to the needs and trauma in our community. And this is an ongoing issue. We don't want to lose sight of ourselves as we care for others. And so we're committed to providing self-care, psychological first aid on an ongoing basis, as well as addressing important community issues like any of the mental health disorders we're seeing, the racial issues we've been seeing. So I thought we would regroup today and bring Ali Cortes and Irene Kelly back to speak with us and share how we can support ourselves in our community and take care of ourselves during COVID and even all the racial issues that have been going on. So thank you all for joining us today and sharing this time with us. So thank you. And I'm Jina Carvalho, and I'm the Executive Director of the Santa Barbara Response Network, and also Communication Director at the Glendon Association and PsychAlive, both mental health nonprofits. So welcome.
Thank you, Gina. I really appreciate being here. And my name is Ali Cortez. I work for the school district as the clinical youth outreach worker. I also wear many different hats, but one of the most important hats is being, a member, being a director at the Santa Barbara Unified School. At the Santa Barbara Response Network. Both are really important. And but the one thing I like about the Santa Barbara Response Network is that we really emphasize the self-care. I mean, it's integrated in our PFA, our psychological first aid training. And I remember when I went to do the first training, it's there, and it's something that was just, we dove into it. We dove into the science of, self-care and why it's important. And to me, as a service provider, someone who's always, taking care of other people, it made so much sense to me. So for me, it's been an incredible journey also for myself, and seeing other people also take on, the responsibility of taking care of yourself and doing it in a way that's very holistic and kind and compassionate, because it really aligns to our mission. And I think we're here to really talk about the overactive stress response and what to do, and some resources that you can use.
Yes, and again, it's our pleasure to be here with you, Gina. My name is Irene Kelly, as Gina mentioned. I am a financial advisor and I'm a yoga teacher. And I also, like Ali, I wear different hats, but the hat that brought me here today is being a board member of Santa Barbara Response Network. Just as Ali shared with you guys, PFA, psychological first aid, has been instrumental to me to stay focused, stay centered amongst all this uncertainty around us. And it's important to, when Gina was saying, we've been here how much time since you started? We have lost track of time. Like it's so, what we're going through, it really demands so much more compassion towards ourselves than we usually practice. So today we want to share with you different tools that we have utilized in self-care in general, but also within our fields. There are many different ways. I love how Ali has taught me how everybody has their own recipe. So find your own self-care recipe so that we can weather this. This is going to take a while, right? We have to continue prioritizing our health and being responsible, even though some things feel like we're back to normal. It's now more important than ever to continue to focus on if we are healthy, then we can be there for others. And in honor of all our service providers out there, all caretakers, we want to provide more tools as SBRN so that you know that, one, you're not alone, and two, you are so important. Your health is the base of everything that's happening right now. So if you don't prioritize your health, then the whole pyramid is going to fall down. So we really care about you, and we want to make sure that all service providers out there are prioritizing their health.
And I just want to share that, and we will put this on our Facebook and we'll share it on our list, that you've started a service provider self-care group, which I've had the pleasure and good fortune to join every Friday at noon. And in that, you're practicing what you're preaching. You're actually taking people through the self-care exercises of yoga and breathing and meditation and checking in with not just positive, but also the negative emotions that we're feeling. And we really want to share that with our community, that is an opportunity that you both have so generously offered us. And I hope that more people will join me and others in this. And maybe you could talk a little bit about that and what your goals are for that group and what people can expect.
Yeah, Jina. Well, thank you. And it was awesome having you with us. You know, it's a community and we go through so much together that we should also take care of ourselves together, not to take care of someone else, but really have a space that is safe. Self-care sometimes, in my world, sometimes the day flies and I don't have that moment to stop. So if I have it on my alarm at 12 o'clock on Friday, because during COVID, I mean, this really would seep into my whole weekend. It was easy to go into my emails. It was easy to go into phone calls and connecting. And then Monday would come and I was burning out really quick, really fast. And so I also wanted to kind of give myself the permission to be able to take care of myself. And as we were talking with Irene and other service providers, it kind of came out like we just need a place where we're okay to take care of ourselves. It's, the culture at 12 o'clock during, on Fridays, it's the culture to take care of yourself. It is the permission to say, I'm here for myself and I'm doing it in solidarity with all the other providers who are also seeing so much. And that ability to also connect. And I feel like it's also educational in the sense of we kind of bring up, what are emotions, what are you feeling, the emotional granularity of like, what feeling, tune into that feeling and you have a place that's safe because you're not alone tuning into an uncomfortable feeling. And then doing the body work that Irene does incredible, kind of really letting it out, really releasing the tension. And 12 o'clock on Fridays, I know is difficult, but at the same time, we want to advocate for start slowing down and start thinking about also powering down your work week and then, amplifying your weekend, recharging. Right now, our flight and freeze system is just really overactive. And what I noticed is I was experiencing a lot of pains and I started looking into it. It's just my body's inflamed with so much cortisol, so much adrenaline of all these perceived threats and real threats too. And sometimes for me as a caretaker, it's like feeling helpless and all those uncomfortable feelings. And to have a place where I can talk about it, feel it, and also do something about it. And then by 12:45, it's like, we're ready to go on to the next meeting, more focused, more ready, and also enjoy the weekend. And I don't know, any thoughts?
I loved how you said we talk about it, but we do something about it. One of the biggest dangers a lot of people are going through now for their own health is that we're worried, right? We worry about all the things that are happening around us, but we don't do something about it. As long as we don't do something about it, that worry is going to slowly start affecting, starting from our mind, our emotions, our body, right? This is a very important time to bring awareness to that connection between our body and mind and our soul, how important they are and how they need attention. self-care is really about prioritizing you, right? About saying, hey, I need to stop for a minute. I need to check in with myself. And I just need to kind of pamper myself, right? Get moving. Right now, self-care includes a lot of movement, right? What we do during our sessions on Fridays is just some gentle stretching, right? We incorporate some principles of yoga so that we start really paying attention to our body and helping our body release some of the stress, so that then we can really focus on that breathing and that mindfulness exercise that we all need, especially when it comes to separating our work week from our free time. And this is something that you can, this is a practice that we recommend you follow at your own rhythm. You can incorporate different things. Like if you're at home and you're like, you know what, I like stretching, but my body needs something else, right? You could dance, you could go on a walk. Like, as long as you start incorporating those principles, you are already prioritizing your own health. So Fridays we decided to do it on Fridays because we also felt that crazy shift that was not happening anymore between, oh, my work and then my free time. Then suddenly we don't have free time, right? So bring awareness to how you're managing your time. One thing that we've also talked about when it comes to self-care, it's learning to say no, right? Learning to say, I'm too tired right now, or, you know, I'm actually not feeling very well. Especially, I think we're seeing it a lot with service providers, because there's this beautiful, beautiful heart inside and in the middle of all this care. And there's a tendency to say yes, right? And put ourselves last. No, we can't afford that right now because it's not sustainable. So that's why we're prioritizing these conversations, because we want to make sure that people are adding to their day whenever time fits. If you happen to be available at noon every Friday, join us, right? If you're not, it's okay. Set yourself an alarm so that you can go outside, breathe a little, right? Just disconnect from what you're doing and just do a little check-in. Maybe you realize, hey, I'm hungry, or hey, I haven't had any drink of water in hours, right? Like, by giving yourself just a little bracket of time to stop focusing on everything else around you and just making sure that you're okay, you're already implementing a practice that, if we add it to our day-to-day, we're going to be way healthier, and we're going to be much more able to serve our community the way our community deserves to be served.
Exactly. Irene, you said something that is absolutely so true. Sustainability, you know, that word, I almost see it as like, it's a bad word now. I heard it consistently. Sustainability is just like, it's forceful. It's, if you look into synonym, it's bearable. And what you do with self-care is you become regenerative. You're, you know, growing, you are allowing your emotions to also bloom up and really give them the dignity and the respect to look at them and appreciate them. I mean, they're just messengers and they get such a bad rep. And, you know, it's not easy because we're not in a society where really we value doing that. And we want to change that because this is a new world. I mean, if we're going to really make COVID and the pandemic and then all the racial injustices in the world that are, you know, being highlighted, they've been happening, they're just being more highlighted, more noticeable. Let's make it count and make yourself regenerative, not sustainable, because that's how we burn out. So it's a kind of a change in your theory about yourself, about giving your emotions a dignity, even if they are uncomfortable, and respecting them and not neglecting them, almost seeing them as like children. Like, you know, we have a huge heart and we just don't have it in our hearts to, you know, slap a child or to shake a child or to neglect a child. And that's, you know, the emotions are that raw part of us that are saying something's not okay. And it might be irrational, it might not be irrational, it might be real. But either way, to just look and have that conversation in a gentle way, because in, you know, my background is also like in therapy, and that is great work. But to also do it in a compassionate way with, you know, a group of people who are also doing it at the same time, and it's an intimate connection, but you're not alone in that intimate connection, also feels soothing. And it's, you know, after we do our mind and body work, you know, we kind of check in with each other, and it's just so nice to, you don't even have to say much. You can just see the calm in the other person. That's one thing that I do appreciate about Zoom, that we're still able to at least say some interaction. And I think we're maximizing that. One thing that we wanted to really work on is, you know, the interventions that you usually see about de-stressing and living your best self are usually, you know, relationships, sleeping well, exercise, nutrition, and mindfulness is usually kind of always like at the end. And we kind of wanted to bring it around, because how can you sleep well? How can you eat well if you're not aware, if you're not mindful of yourself, and also respecting and appreciating yourself? And self-care is, in the world of doing mindfulness as self-care, can be um, maybe not the first in our list, because we're not used to it. I know that I also come, you know, like in from Mexico and from my Latinx culture. It's like, you don't do that, you know, you don't do that. That's, you know, eat something. And that doesn't always work for me. So I found a lot of growth and a lot of education about myself in mindfulness during these times. If we're going to be, you know, kind of stuck within our own feelings, might as well make a count and say, well, I'm going to study myself. I'm going to be a scientist of myself. And I ran into this beautiful quote written by Audre Lorde, and she said, "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation. And that is an act of political warfare." And drop the mic there. That said it all. It's exactly why we need to be doing self-care, especially during this time.
That's powerful. Thank you, Ali. And I think referring to your background, but I really like the way you articulated that. When we started these Compassion Center Lives, we started them in Spanish, and they're still going on in Spanish, thanks to both of you. And we started there because exactly what you said, that those people, that community, and I grew up in that culture as well, that is not prioritized. You take care of everything else, and if you have time, possibly you do something, but it's always in conjunction with others. So this is really shifting the whole focus. And the more we can get that message out, that it's really that turning it around and putting yourself, the person who's caring for the other, in a healthy environment, we can do even more, because we are givers and we are people that like to serve. I had a question to ask both of you that fits in with self-care, and I want to hear you speak to this. What are you seeing currently in the community with this long-standing COVID? What are you seeing that we feel we need to address, or that you've been addressing?
That's such a big question, Gina. I think in my perspective, I'm seeing different things depending the hat I'm wearing. But the first thing that I'm seeing is this shift towards speaking up about mental health and how important it is, and how we're taking the stigma out, right? That is something that I feel like it's one of those positive things that COVID is bringing our way, because now there's no way to run, right? There's no more distractions. We're literally confronting our mental health, our emotional health every day when we're just focusing this preservation mode. So this is like a gift that we're having right now, because these are issues that we've been having for a long time. We just hadn't observed them this close before, right? So I'm seeing that one aspect, that yes, although I feel like there are some cultures that have much more struggles in terms of mental health, I do see that shift between us now not talking, and now talking about it, and now realizing that we need more organizations that prioritize mental health. That's one thing I'm seeing. Another thing I'm seeing in terms of what we're dealing with at an economical level, I'm seeing that a lot of people are very stressed. A lot of people are very worried about the uncertainty that COVID is bringing, not only in their finances, but in their lives, in their health. So I've been doing a lot of work around the concept of focusing on what we can control, because that's ultimately the way to solve that stress, to say, okay, even with uncertainty, you can still sit down, face the situation, face your numbers, do some math, prepare for the worst, and really start getting creative. Now it's a very critical time to get creative about what tools do you have in your personal toolbox, and how are you going to use them and apply them differently so that your finances can get to a healthier place. So, and I think a lot of it, where this is going to be a very complex issue, we're going to need it. Private intervention, government intervention, like we have been seeing with some loans, with some of the relief that we have gotten, but that's not going to be enough. So I'm seeing that this is also making us, similar to mental health, these experiences making us confront our the issues that we have in our country, in our world, in regards to financial literacy, for example. Like we're seeing it now. So this situation, to me, it's really bringing, it's a golden opportunity, because we're seeing what are the pains of our systems, what are the pains of our world, and we are starting to identify the tools to start working around those issues in different fields, in different professions. I think everybody is seeing that there are opportunities that are coming out from what we're experiencing. So the question is, are we going to be ready for those, to take those opportunities? That's why we go back to self-care, because self-care, it's going to be that thing that allows us, or that practice that allows us to see those opportunities and be ready for them. So we do have to, it all goes back to self-care. I'm seeing the need for it among all people, all cultures, all levels of income. Everybody worries, right? Everybody worries. Everybody has the signals that Ali was saying, that our emotions are, right? Those messages. Now we are all realizing that we're much more alike than we think. And this is the time to really prioritize on self-care in the different aspects of our life, right? What about you, Ali? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I think, the lights are on. For a while we were kind of in the dark and don't say anything or keep it to yourself, and we're raw, and the lights are on. So we're seeing so much. And that's where, that stress response comes up, because as a caretaker, as someone who cares, just loves so much, you want to solve it. And going back to what you said, and it's like that, self-care is so important, because you have to kind of go back to yourself and say, which one am I going to take? Because there's so many issues that are so bloomed up, like so up, and it's an opportunity. I see it too, Irene. And redirecting it, because I know it could be, if we see it in a more optimistic viewpoint, that the only way you can get to that is really self-care. Maya Angelou says, like, hope and fear cannot live in the same home, right? So you have to invite hope more, but to get there, you have to take care of yourself. You have to make an inviting home and say, which one am I going to really focus on? Which one really matters to me the most? Because they're all connected. Your fight is my fight, and they're all connected. And so it's about just making this world a better place now. And what I'm noticing with that is also anger, because the lights are on and we're just seeing the injustices. We're seeing the inequity in power. Right now, one thing that I'm choosing is leadership. We need more people of color in leadership positions. I see more people of color in the, front lines working, and then it just starts dwindling as you go up. And this is where all the decisions are being made. This is where all the the policies are being made, and the lack of a voice, the lack of a representation makes a difference. It matters. It really does. So representation matters. I work with youth, and I just want our youth to also see themselves in these positions, because that does something to you. That really does something to your matter of your identity. It does something to, like, well, if that person is successful and also takes care of themselves, I can do that too. One thing that I'm trying to trickle into our youth is take care of yourselves. But if the adults aren't doing it, if they're not putting the masks on first, they're learning not to do that either. And it's just, we need to break that cultural cycle, that society culture. I'm not sure what it is, but just in general, like, adults, take care of yourselves so that you are really flaunting your social emotional skills, so that our youth are going to follow that direction as well. And again, it's like, I see it as an opportunity. I think I was so impressed with the youth-led peaceful protest. I think I felt the anger, and I felt the the unity of, like, yeah, we're angry together, and we're going to do something. When we're doing something about it, we're going to do everything that's in our hands, and we're going to reach out to these organizations. And just like this partnership, this teamwork, this collaborativeness of we're in it together is so strong. And I think from my goal is to keep that going, whatever it takes. Like, let's keep that going. But you're gonna have to do a lot of self-care.
Yeah. And I'm glad, yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned the youth-led protest, because we are finally going to have Shakir, the young man that helped organize that rally, on Friday on our Facebook Live. He could do Friday. So do tune in, because it's the voice, like I've promised, the voice that's speaking up. It's all of this that's coming forward. As Irene said, everything is now exposed. It's like, yeah, we knew there was injustices and there was poverty and but it's now, it's so evident, so that we can actually know where we stand, so that we can address these issues. And as you both have said, if we don't have that self-care in place, and we're not centered in that place to be able to have the energy to respond, we're not going to be as effective. So as we're wrapping up this Facebook Live, I wanted to ask if you'd like to do like a mindfulness exercise with us as we wind down, so people can experience that, or we can continue our conversation, whatever you feel.
Can people write what they want? That would be, I would love to see feedback if they have any questions. I always like knowing what other people are doing for self-care. That's the one thing that I want to know what Jina does for self-care, because she's the biggest teacher. So Jina, what are you doing for self-care?
Okay, I can, yeah, I think that's a very good question, actually. I do every morning, I do 2 meditations. I do a gratitude meditation, and I have tapes, and there's a website or an app called Insight Timer, and I find anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes. And then I do a regular sitting meditation, usually Vipassana, but sort of a sitting meditation. And then I write. I do some form of journaling or dialoguing with myself. I ask a question. Sometimes I ask for guidance. And then I do some form of physical exercise. So that would be a workout or yoga. So once that's in place, then I can feel the shift, because I wake up with fear and anxiety and uncertainty. So I like to start my day with a solid foundation, and then I go into my day. So I do give myself the luxury of that time to form the base for my day. So that's what I do.
Yeah. Just a little quickie, it's those little things, those shifts that make a difference. By just putting your back straight. Apparently research shows that that signals your brain to start reducing cortisol. So just by, straightening up your back, just that little thing. So I do it too. I, especially now that I'm on the computer, I'm always like, so just, I go back and take a deep breath and just, get my back straight. That's just one tip.
Yeah.
It's all the little things.
And another one is the little things. Exactly. The breath is the go-to place for me, and taking, the breath in and then the longer breaths out, so that we're, releasing, and just 3 of those, which we can do, right?
Irene has a really, I love this one. It's my favorite. She guides us to, roll our shoulders back, and it's almost like you're getting a massage on your back, because you can actually, sometimes I hear it kind of my back cracking a little bit.
Oh, it's like an orchestra.
Creaky. Mine just did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those
how
kind
about-
small little tips.
Mhm, mhm. No, you were saying, Gina, those small little tips?
Yeah, it's those little tips like that, like the breath and the rolling of the shoulders and the spine and the feet, your feet on the ground, and looking out, taking a moment, texting someone, just hello, how are you, checking in. Those, if we do those like every hour or every 2 hours, we can come back to ourselves.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it
Well,
doesn't
and
have to be a big long thing.
no. That's, that's why we keep it 30 to 45 minutes. And it's things that we also encourage, like do it at home, things that you could do at home, on your own time as well. And so we definitely extend the invitation to anybody that just wants to gather and have a self-care moment with us and know that you will be taken care of. We will just, do some guidance.
Amen.
And people can email us or call us for more information, and we'll put things on the website. We'll send out email information, but you can always call SBRN, which is 805-699-5608. And then you can also go to our website, sbresponsenetwork.org, and send us a message, see what we're doing, and we'll be happy to extend more information to you on self-care, on the weekly gathering on self-care. So we really want to have dialogue with people in the community. We want to hear what you want to talk about. What are you doing and what are you seeing? We're going to be sending out a survey with asking people what they would like to see covered on these Facebook Lives. So it's that dialogue and empowerment that we want to have with the community.
Well, thank you so much for having us, Gina. Really appreciate it.
Oh,
Yes, Gina.
really?
Muchas
Thank you so
gracias.
much. And tune into your Facebook Live that you're doing. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
I want to
Thank
honor you both. Yeah, honor you both for your work and your contribution to our community. It's so much appreciated and so valuable. Thank you both. And
Thank you, Gina. All right, well, everybody have a
have
great night.
a wonderful evening, everyone. Have a
Bye,
great night. Go
everyone.
out and
Take
enjoy
care.
yourselves. Do some self-care. Have some
everyone.
fun.
Yes.
Take care and have some fun. Laugh. We forgot. Laugh. Laugh a lot. Bye, everyone.
Bye.